Good morning. Continuing with the laws of Pesach, we're on Taf Ayin Beis 472, 6. Hashamish Tzarech Haseba. The servant, if you have a servant at your Seder, or a butler, something like that, they also have to lean. Obviously, if they're Jewish and observing the Seder. Let's see what the Mishnah Berurah has to say. Tzarech Haseba, they have to lean. Va'afilu b'fnei adano, even in front of their employer, their master. De'afal pi shehu tamin meshubed lehisazik b'tzarech habais, even though he's always has to deal with the needs of the home, that's his job. Nevertheless, even though he has to fulfill his responsibilities, nevertheless, he still has to lean, and he has to eat matzah and afikomen and 4 cups of wine, and he has to lean when he does it. So too, if you have someone who's learning a trade. Earlier, we discussed a Rebbe and a student, that a student needs to ask permission from his Rebbe if he leans on Pesach. But here we see that somebody who has a teacher who's teaching him a trade, like a plumber or something like that, he needs to lean. The student of the craftsman needs to lean. Also Jewish slaves, which we really don't have anymore, they also need to lean. Al kalpanim b'kazayis rishon kishamish. At least at the first kazayis, the first bit of matzah that he eats, like the shamish, like the butler. Inyan evi kanani. For non-Jewish slave, ayim b'achronim. Look in the later day authorities. Okay, slaves we really don't have anymore. Okay, now, what if somebody forgets to lean on Pesach? So far we know that a person has to lean for the matzah and the 4 cups and the afikomen. So let's see what happens if someone forgets to lean. So kol mi shetzarech haseba, whoever needs to lean, im achal oishasa b'lo haseba, if he eats or drinks without leaning, lo yatsa v'tzarech lachzor v'le'achal v'lishtos b'seba, he has to go back and he has to redo whatever mitzvah it was. He has to re-eat the matzah or re-drink the wine again if he didn't do it when he was leaning. And remember, again, leaning means on the left side. Could be on a pillow, on the chair next to you, on someone's knees even. But one has to lean, so if he doesn't lean, he has to go back and do it again. Now, we're going to see that this is not so simple, but that's the opinion of the Shulchan Aruch. Let's see the opinion of the Ramah. V'yesh omrim, there are those that say, the bizman hazeh, the ein derech lehasev, kedaihu ravya lismoch alav, shebediavad yatza below haseba. He says there are opinions that hold. If you remember, we quoted the opinion earlier of the Ravya. The Ravya was of the opinion that since nowadays, really, what's the whole reason that we lean? We lean because it shows freedom. It shows that we're free people. Very important people, aristocrats, they used to eat like that, leaning on the pillows with their grapes, their servant putting the grapes in their mouth with the fan, the whole deal. The Ravya says we don't really eat like that anymore. So his opinion is that we don't even need to lean in the first place. So the Ramah says, while we don't paskin like that, we hold you do have to lean. He says if you forgot to lean for whatever reason, then there are those that hold you can rely on the Ravya and you don't have to eat again. And you don't have to re-eat it while leaning. That's one opinion. However, he says, Venerally, it appears to me, Im lo shasa kos shlishi or reviya behaseba, ein lachsar v'lishtos behaseba, d'yesh b'chashash shenirik kemosif ala kosos. Aval b'shnei kosos rishonos, yachsar v'yishte below bracha. V'chein ba'achilas matzah. He says, the Ramah doesn't totally accept this opinion. He says that when it comes to he's going to divide between different mitzvahs of the night. He says when it comes to the 3rd and 4th cup of wine, if a person drank them without leaning, the 3rd and 4th cup, he should not go back and do it again. Now the reason is because if you start drinking more cups of wine by the 3rd and 4th cup, it looks like you're adding more cups of wine. We'll see what the difference is between the 3rd and 4th cups and the 1st and 2nd cups. Why it looks like that by the 3rd and 4th cups, but not the 1st and 2nd cups. So by the 3rd and 4th cups, if you did not lean, you do not go back. But by the 1st and 2nd cups, if you did not lean, you do go back and do it again. And continues the Ramah, and this is also the halacha for matzah. If when a person is eating the matzah, he does not lean, he has to go back. Ulechatchila Yasev kol hasauda. He says, now this is not if one forgets, but he says not only is there a mitzvah to lean when eating the matzah and drinking the 4 cups of wine and doing what we call the mitzvah sayom, the actual mitzvahs of the Seder night, but he says is actually a mitzvah to lean during the entire meal. So when you're eating your pot roast and your potatoes or whatever you're having for the meal, your kosher Pesach potato flour starch cake, you should also lean. There's a mitzvah to do that. Now that's not a requirement. It's just a beautification of the mitzvah. It's not beautification. It's a lechatchila. It's a nice thing to do. Okay, so let's start. You know what? Let's hold off actually. So this was the opinion of the Ramah, and next time we're going to learn the opinion of the Mishnah Brura. So if you're just stopping to listen now, you have to come back tomorrow because we didn't finish the final conclusion. We just stated various opinions, but we didn't reach the final conclusion of Halach Lamaisa. So anyone listening now, please stay tuned for tomorrow for the conclusion of the class of what happens if you do not lean for certain of the mitzvos of the night. And have a beautiful day.